Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have Adam Lendi and Justin Hoggatt with us. They are the co-founders of Happy Camper Capital, a real estate investing group focused on syndicating fun vacation properties, namely RV resorts, campgrounds, and marinas. That is very, very niche and very unique. And so I am super excited to have you guys here. Thank you very much for hopping on.
And we're excited to be on and excited to share.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right. So I just, I told you guys before we got on here, we like to start with stories. We like to hear how people kind of get into real estate. So I'm sure you guys got a unique one, especially this niche. How'd you guys get into real estate?
Oh, just the typical story of kids growing up who wanted to be real estate investors doing private equity and buying campgrounds, right?
Typical story.
Dream come true.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think like most people, real estate was not a first job. For me, it was a third career, really. After having a background in commercial construction when I was younger, law enforcement for a decade, started getting my first rental properties while I was still a cop, decided I wanted to go further in real estate and got into brokerage, thinking that was going to be my path there. Learned quickly it was a good hustle and a good way to make a lot of money in a short period of time, but still didn't quite hit the goals. If you don't mind, I'll share the story of kind of how this all came to be, because I love telling it. So, and Justin, I'll let him tell his background in a minute, but, he culminated before this in, doing multifamily, and, it was right around, June 2020. So what the lockdowns and eviction moratoriums had been in effect for a couple months. And our families, which are like a weird, crazy parallel, we can get into that further later, of each other. We were out on a houseboat on Lake Powell together. And I don't know if you've been on Lake Powell before, but there's no cell phone service.
Is Lake Powell, that's in Idaho, isn't it?
Arizona and Arizona. Utah. Yeah, okay. It spans both, but there's no cell phone service out there, but we're on this houseboat having a great time. And meanwhile, Justin's got how many doors?
Yeah, but almost 90.
Yeah, he's got like 90 doors, right? And every time we'd get into somewhere that had service, his phone would just blow up with people messaging like, I'm not paying my rent. I'm not paying my rent. And like, by the way, the building's on fire, whatever, I'm not paying my rent also.
Typical landlord.
And like, he was all frustrated. So I'm kind of jumping ahead and telling a bit of his story, but then he'd been kind of pushing this, like, hey, look at these RVs with me. Look at these RV properties. And I hadn't really been listening. It sounded complicated. And, I wasn't, it sounded like snake oil or something. So I kind of pushed it off for a little bit, but he goes, okay, seriously, like, take a look at this. Like, and so I started looking at it and you see, like eyes bugging out of your head. It's like, oh my God, the returns on these things are insane. So, that's kind of where this kicked off, is on a houseboat in the middle of Lake Powell, summer of 2020. And, the rest is history.
I love it.
And so Gabe, I mean, a little bit of my background is I started this with my wife about a decade ago with, the typical progression in real estate with the single family homes and the multifamily, and then kind of bored with that. And my wife has had this in her blood. Her dad is in real estate. His dad is in real estate, and built stuff in St. Louis and just really set some landscape around that area as well. So it's been in our blood, and we got a little bit of help along the way and started building out our portfolio. And during that time, we decided to take a trip on the road for a year and really just enjoy the financial freedom of this. And we had, about 30 doors. So it was relatively easy to manage from the road and travel with the kids and homeschool. We call it road schooling. I think that's a coined term at this point, but the kids really, really enjoyed being on the road. And I as well, and started looking at RV parks at that time. And about 4 or 5 years ago, it was a situation where you couldn't liquidate if that was something you wanted to do, because the parks would sit on for about a year. And I wasn't in that space at the time. Came back, worked some more apartment buildings, and got some more doors, and worked myself back into a job. And so, I was like, man, I want to do something that's a little bit more of a passion project, and that's where it kind of stemmed from. Is getting to enjoy the asset class in which you purchase and get to go travel back to those spaces.
That's awesome, man. I love it. So you guys have very, very unique, very different stories. I mean, Adam, you came from law enforcement. Justin, you kind of had a background in real estate in the beginning. I mean, your wife, she had that. And Adam, I'm sure, I mean, you had that construction background. I'm sure that's helped a lot throughout this entire process, going through. I'm sure you guys don't buy pristine RV parks. You probably buy some fixer-uppers and give some love to them.
We like turnarounds where, mismanaged business, of course, like who doesn't, right? But yeah, I mean, there's always turnaround up, in these, but obviously we like when we get to have fun, like putting fun amenities in and expanding, not fixing things that are broken. So that's one of the cool things about this asset class is just when you go to add revenue streams, they're not just boring, right? I mean, you get to actually add fun stuff like, fun amenities and they end up just producing a lot of extra income too.
I love it. So Justin, you're the one, the RV thing, it kind of sparked in your mind. You're the one who brought it to Adam. This was your idea in the beginning, and it came from you actually staying at the RV parks. Is that where the idea came from? You were just staying at them and you thought maybe this is a good idea?
Yeah, well, kind of like I said, about 4 or 5 years ago was when I really started looking into it. We traveled 38 states, so I got to see a lot of RV parks during that time and see how they were run. And about 2 years ago, when we really came up with the idea, it was about 75% mom and pop business and a lot of potential. Still is, but that's kind of where it came from too, is the cash flow opportunities, the CapEx of these parks. I mean, we're just stepping into a much different world and opportunity than some of these multifamily projects that people are doing, buying at 4 and 5 cap. We're chasing the market a little bit right now, and we're still 8 or 9 cap at purchase with tons of potential left. So,
Yeah, RV parks. I mean, I mentioned I own one out here in Washington State, and they are, people are sleeping on them. I really like RV parks. Do you guys generally run them as a long-term stay or short-term stay?
We target transient population.
Okay.
And that's kind of one of the big value adds for us when we get into these is, you get a lot of mom and pops where their basis is super low. They've owned it for a long time, and they don't want to do all the headache of heavy turnover because a lot of them don't have online reservation systems or a simple way to manage that. So they'd rather have everybody come, move in April and move out in October, November, and they're making enough money to be happy. Which of course, then we walk in day one, throw an online reservation system in place, throw some dynamic pricing in on there too. And, next thing we boosted it up big time. So, we do target transient. I mean, we do end up with some, seasonal campers in there along the way too. And they help you out. They help smooth out the humps, in the week when you have, heavy weekends and really light weekdays.
Yep, absolutely. And you just kind of answered a question that I was going to ask. What is, the biggest value add when you guys go into most of these parks? Like, what is the thing that you automatically see just stepping into it?
It's on Justin's lips. I know he's going to say it.
Well, the yield management. Oh, yes.
Software.
Software. Yeah. Yeah. And what are you using?
So we actually just got onto Appfolio. We were using the trusty Excel sheet, which was not working out too well.
Yeah.
But we just started using Appfolio. How about you guys?
Well, in terms of the transient, it's on New Book, so it's more of a hospitality platform.
Oh, okay.
I use Appfolio for my apartments and homes and whatnot, but so I know that software pretty well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So software, that is such a it's the easiest. And whenever I see a property that doesn't have software in place, I get excited because I'm like, yes, that is like, it's such an easy addition, easy value add that you can add both to the customers because it's easy for them to rent, and for you because it's very easy to set up. So I love that you guys are finding those too.
And kind of what's freaky is no one likes to use phones anymore, right? So, I mean, they like to use phones as a computer, but not to call. So we've seen a lot of demand for online reservations, right?
Yep.
So if you make it easy for someone, they can go to a website, click reserve now. They can see the price, buy it online, it's all done. So it not only improves the reservations, but it drops the need for employees, in their time to take phone calls, so seen a pretty significant move in that direction.
And especially with the biggest user group in this asset right now being millennials. 38% of RV owners are millennials, right? And
wow,
what's
I did not know that.
Yeah, and so anybody who thought this is something that's going to die off, when grandma and grandpa, pass by, but
hey, I got fond memories of camping. Like I'm going to go back to those
right
those campsites.
So with millennials being the biggest user group, what's the one thing millennials are afraid to do? Pick up the phone and call somebody, right? So they're more likely, I think, to drive an extra hour to the campground they can make an online reservation to than to stop at the one that they'd have to call to make the reservation on.
Yep.
And I'm a millennial, so I can say this about my peers.
So do you guys see, well, how many campgrounds do you guys own, by the way?
We have one in operation. So we're a fairly young venture. Okay. Like I mentioned, we started June of 2020.
Okay.
It took us a little while to get our feet under us, get our education. There were limited resources in this asset at the time.
Yep.
In fact, the only one we found that had anything worthwhile was a modified mobile home buying program, MH course, which really had a lot of holes and, things that didn't work well for what we're doing. So we had to develop a lot of our own methods, go through a couple heartaches with couple properties we got under contract and really refine our processes. But yeah, we closed our first one last summer. It's in Eastern Iowa. We've since been working on scaling. We built out a team. We've got acquisition specialists, investor relations. We had another big one that eluded us a couple months ago, but we've got 2 under contract right now that are both looking great that are set to close in the next couple months. Hopefully by the time this episode airs, we'll have one of them anyway.
Perfect, man. I love it. And where are those located?
One's in Indiana and one is in Missouri.
Indiana and Missouri. So you guys are really focused kind of in the center of the US there.
The Midwest has been good to us. Yeah.
Love
it. Yeah. The returns seem a little bit better in that area.
That's pretty much true across every asset class I've found.
Yeah. I think you're right. We have been looking in the South like everyone else, but it's the demand, of course, is just crazy. So
same with our own backyard here in Colorado. We've had a hard time finding one that makes sense here. Everybody wants way more than we can even stomach. So
I almost don't even underwrite self-storage deals in Colorado anymore. I'm just like, listen, it's going to go for a 2 cap. I don't want that. It's just
exactly.
I'm not even interested. Awesome. So yeah, that's cool. You guys got those 2 under contract. I hope that goes well. I hope you guys close because it sounds like a fun business to start going. In your bio, you mentioned marinas and campgrounds. Are you guys also focused on that, or is it mostly just RV parks?
Well, when we use, so I'll just use share the terms we use for you just to understand. So like when we talk about an RV park for us, that means like the little thing you see off the side of the interstate. That's like a parking lot. It has no amenities really. You're stopping because you're too tired to keep going. So when we say a campground, what we mean is an RV campground. So one that's got amenities. It's near a destination. It's not quite a resort where it is the destination, but it's near one. So that's what we mean when we say campground. So we're working to help rewrite some of the terms in the industry right now, by calling it that. And then, marinas are in our model too. In fact, one of the ones we have under contract right now is a 285 slip marina. So it's a big one.
Wow. Okay.
In addition to campground. Yeah.
This is great. This is an opportunity for me to learn because I know nothing about marinas. So is a marina essentially basically like an RV storage or boat storage? Like, so you have the marina and people park their boat and just dock it there, and you you charge them a monthly fee, or how does that work?
It's kind of like a campground. It's you can run it transient or you can run it seasonal long term. So people can put their boat there for months, or they can put it there for a night or 2.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's kind of a little floating city in a sense. Of course, every marina is different, like every campground is, right? But this one's on a lake, so a lot of people that would probably be coming up for the weekend, right? Using their boats for fishing. There's a couple houseboats, kind of thing where, the boats sit there a long term, and then there's gas and minnows and a little bar, so it's kind of, there's a lot to do at the marina in a sense, and then it's easy to camp there as well. So a reason for both. You're paying kind of a double-ended, right? You're paying for camping and the boats.
And I heard a few revenue streams there. I heard gas, yes. I heard bars. So it sounds like you guys, it's not just the marina. You guys have quite a few things that you're running in that property.
One of the things that I love about this outdoor hospitality sector is truly your revenue streams are only limited to your imagination. I mean, if you can dream it, you can make money doing it. Whereas you look at, say, a commercial multifamily, there's only so much you can do to push the rents up. There's only so much you can do to create extra revenue streams. Like there's a point where people, you've done coin op laundry, you've added concierge trash or whatever the heck else you're doing. And at some point you've kind of maximized what people are going to pay for the place they live. But here, I mean, you can add food options, fun options, rentable, vehicles, different fun things to do. And they all make money.
Okay. So my question, the next thing that pops into my head is liability. When I hear like marinas and I hear, overnight stay campgrounds, the first thing that pops into my head is that is a huge liability just because there's so many moving parts and people just coming in and out. So what do you guys, is the insurance side of this really expensive, and how do you guys mitigate
that's another area that we're chasing right now. I mean, we have, we worked on a park in Florida recently that didn't end up happening, but the insurance companies are pulling out of Florida, for example, too much litigation in Florida. Of course, like hurricanes along the coast, there's a few things that you have to pay attention to, but the insurance rates, as everything seems like these days, is going through the roof, and it's just kind of chasing. And we have a lot of parks that we underwrite that have some grandfathered rates kind of included in their P&L. And we just have to know that it's going to be double,
or we have some that are just horribly underinsured to begin with. And, frankly, with us, with our model, since we're syndicating, I mean, we've got investors we're responsible to. So it's worth our while to pay for really good insurance to protect us against every unknown. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I say go with the better insurance. It'll cost a little bit, but at least you can sleep well at night. That's my motto.
Exactly.
All right. So this all begins with finding properties. That's how real estate begins, is the acquisition side. So how do you guys go about finding your marinas, your RVs, your campgrounds?
Well, we've got a few channels. I will say that the one that does not produce well right now, just given that this asset class is heating up, is brokers and marketing firms that list these things. There's so much popularity that they become bidding wars. If it gets in front of a broker, one of a couple things is going to happen. Either it's going to be bid through the ceiling, or the expectations of the seller are going to be way too high because they overlisted the price, and then
brokers are just whispering in their ears, this is a $10 billion property. Don't sell for anything less.
Yeah, we've seen our share of that. And then it's tough to get those people down to where it really needs to be to make sense. So we source ours off market primarily. We've got some channels we've found for that. And the great thing about it is, the rules of engagement are a bit different in this, because we're contacting businesses. We're not contacting homeowners or anything in that realm. So really easy to get a hold of them. Most of them are the nicest folks around, salt of the earth. I mean, I joke that with my guys that, when you get these guys on the phone, whereas I came from residential real estate brokerage before. You call people at home, boy, you get to hear about it. You call these people at their business, you're trying to get them off the phone after a while. You're like, okay, I got to go now. It's been really nice talking to you. They want to talk to you about everything they've done in their business. They're the nicest folks. So
I love it. Well, hey, I really like that you guys are getting some traction. You got that one part 2 coming up. So hopefully you guys close on that. I took a peek at the clock. We do have to wrap this up and jump into the quick question round, but thank you for sharing all the wisdom so far.
Happy to talk about it.
Yeah,
absolutely. So that leads us to the quick question round. Are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right. And it always starts with books, because I'm a big bookie. So why don't you give me 2 book recommendations, one for general life wisdom and one for real estate specific?
General life wisdom. I really like to go for compound effect. that one just kind of shows, I mean, like the rice principle on a chessboard. It's in the book, but you put 1 grain of rice and double it on every square, and you won't be able to, I mean, just like think about it, kind of the penny trick with doubling it for a month, right? So a compound effect, definitely like that one.
For me, general life wisdom, the one thing, Gary Keller, Jay Papasan, I mean, it's one that we built our business on, and it's, guiding principles.
Love it.
Real estate, man, there's so many, and I want to be original.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, and just so many books that I've read. But the cash flow quadrant, I mean, that's really what we base our podcast on as well. And I think it's just so powerful that I can't not say it.
Perfect. Yep, that's a good one.
For me, I'm going to say, just given in this space, I love the hands-off investor. It's required reading for our guys on the team, just to make sure that they understand what the other side is looking for from us, what the investors are looking for.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard about that one. I haven't picked it up yet, so I'm going to have to do that after this show here.
It's dense. You need to take it in bites.
There you go. I'll download the audiobook and put it on like 1.5 and just all right. Moving on. Next question. This one is for your younger self. So if you guys could go back to the Adam and the Justin who had no experience in real estate, go back to them, look in the eye, give them one piece of advice moving forward.
Well, it was always said at the time as well. I took it maybe with too much grain of salt, and that's networking and, really work on the who, not how. And I really focused on trying to do everything myself, spent way too much time. And I would have definitely said, Justin, talk to more people, get some help. You will grow faster.
Yep. Yeah. Mine's going to be pretty darn close to his, and it's just going to be upgrade the people you're around. I mean, it's that, classic, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And, the people I was around in my younger days and before I got really opened up to this were not thinking the same way. And, it caused all sorts of limiting beliefs in my world. So it would have been definitely upgrade your network.
Man, great advice. Next one's going to be good because you guys are different and you guys are a partnership. So this question is about your strengths, because we are all gifted with something that we specifically can add to this world, that we are gifting to the world. So you guys have Superman strengths. What is it that you guys are specifically kick-ass at individually?
Well, I'm pretty detail oriented. I have kind of the engineer's mind. So I guess maybe more the operations and details and underwriting aspect, but yeah, definitely being able to look at something and dig through it.
Yeah. Perfect. If you were to take, and I don't know if you've read Rocket Fuel, Gino Wickman, but I'm more the visionary type. So I'm really good at throwing really big ideas out there and then making Justin go like, how are we going to do this? Right. And I throw about 10 of those a week at the wall, and see what sticks. But that's kind of one of my strengths, is to be able to just think really big. And, I think it's, and Justin's a big thinker too. I don't want to diminish him on that, but he's certainly the one who's actually capable of putting stuff into action.
Perfect. Sounds like a good yin yang there. And that leads us to the second to last question. And this one is for the United States, because there's so many square miles out there, which means there's a lot of opportunity to invest. So what market are you guys most excited about putting your hard-earned dollars?
Well, we do look nationwide, right? The RV park and campground business is not something you can hyper focus on in one area. So we get to look at a bunch of different areas. Like we mentioned, Midwest is good to us, but most exciting spot I think is the Northeast. I love the Northeast. I love Colorado too, and I love to have a park in my backyard. However, the Northeast, I mean, it's just so beautiful. So that would be my favorite spot to look at.
See, and I'm going to go the other side of the country. I'm going to say Southwest to Sunbelt region, because I tell you this, I'm tired of cold winters here in Colorado. I'm ready to have a place that I can go visit, and in the winter.
All right. I love it. That leads us to the very last question. And this one is for the listeners. You guys have given us great advice on RVs, campgrounds. I'm sure people out there want to reach out and say hi. So what is the best way for them to do that?
I love that question. All right. So happycampercapital.com is our website. And my email is pretty simple. It's Justin@happycampercapital.com.
And I will say the easiest way to reach me is not my email. My strength is not checking my email. I'm proud to say my unread count has a comma in it. So best way to reach me would probably be to find me on LinkedIn, Adam Lendi, that's Lendi.
Perfect. Adam Lendi on LinkedIn, and then happycampercapital.com. I'll put those links in the show notes. So if y'all want to reach out to Adam and Justin, just click a little more in the description. It'll pull down the full description. In there, you can find the links. So Adam, Justin, thank you guys very much for hopping on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having us on. It was awesome.
Absolutely. And for everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Other than that, hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.